Now, when I check the tension on a machine, I don't check the tension on a straight stitch. And the reason is it's difficult to see the pull. The tension has got to be balanced at the top and the bottom, and the pull between them must be equal. And when it's equal, I will see nice stitches forming on the top and at the bottom of my fabric. Okay, so let's work out on the tension for these pieces of calico what we need. So I've got the green thread at the top, I've got the red at the bottom. So ideally I don't want to see any green on the bottom of my fabric or any red on the top. So we're going to use between B and C. C is our zigzag, and if you work from B all the way up to C, you get different widths of a zigzag. So let's go for mid C. I've set the tension to 0, and we're going to see what we get. Hook to the top, press the foot up, let's release the fabric and let's see what we get. Now, analysing that, we can see, put a light on this, we can see that we've got some green showing through the bottom and the red is absolutely invisible on the top. Okay, so if we go to the other extreme, go all the way up to 9, let's see what we get. So what we have now is we can see some red from our bottom tension, from our bottom bobbin coming up, and the green is not zigzagging as well. Let's have a look at the bottom. It zigzags fine. So if it's zigzagging fine at the bottom, that means that the bottom tension is fine, it's working its width, but the top tension is not being pulled to the sides, which means it's not balanced, it's not loose enough to stretch across, it's too tight, it wants to stay as tightly in the middle as it can. So let's loosen it off a little bit. Let's go into the middle of our 3, 4 and 5. So we'll go to 4 and let's see what we get. Hook to the top, press foot up, and there we go. Got the fabric there. And we can still see some red at the top. Tension at the bottom's fine, which means we've still got too much tension at the top. It's still too tight to do a full zigzag. So we can loosen it off a little bit, and hopefully 3 should do it. Make sure all your threads are at the back, otherwise you do get into a bit of a tangle up like I'm doing here. Hook to the top. And there we go. Okay, so we've got the green thread at the top, the red at the bottom, and I've got green felt and red felt. It's very Christmassy, I know. So we're going to use the green thread on the red felt and the red felt on the green felt. Okay, bit of a tongue twister. Now we're going to use D. D is our tricot. I'm just going to edge around. So hook at the top, press the foot down now. Now, as I was explaining before, because of the fabric I was using, the mistakes or the thread tension was obvious. So I could see the red thread on the top and I couldn't at the bottom. So if I do that again, back on my canvas, the same on a different piece of fabric, different weight of fabric, you can see the red, whereas on here I didn't change the tension, and you can't see the red. And again, it's not anything to worry about. You're going to generally use the same colour on the top and the bottom. And again, going back to another issue, people talk about different weights of thread on the top and the bottom. They're marginal. You are talking so small differences in weight, it doesn't really matter. And again, it's when you're a beginner, it's not something you should be worrying about, and it is really as you grow up, more experience with different weights of fabric. But as a beginner, I suggest you stick to these medium weights, so these canvases, the felts, and don't go too extreme. Learn how to understand your machine and how it works, and play with it a lot.